camel's load. This quantity is easy for the king to give. Jacob said, I will not send him with you until you swear a solemn oath to me in Allah's name, that you will bring him back to me unless you are yourselves surrounded by enemies. And when they had sworn their solemn oath, he said, Allah is the witness over what we have said. And he said, O my sons, do not enter by one gate, but by different gates, and I cannot avail you against Allah at all. Verily, the decision rests only with Allah. In him I put my trust, and let all those that trust put their trust in him. Jacob blessed them on their departure, and prayed to Allah for their protection. The brothers undertook the long journey to Egypt, taking good care of Benjamin, Joseph, and Benjamin meat. Joseph welcomed them heartily, although with difficulty he suppressed the desire to embrace Benjamin that arose within him. He prepared a feast for them and seated them in pairs. Joseph arranged to sit next to his beloved brother Benjamin, who began to weep. Joseph asked him why he was crying. He replied, If my brother Joseph had been here, I would have sat next to him. That night, when Joseph and Benjamin were alone in a room, Joseph asked whether he would have been for a brother. Benjamin respectfully answered that he regarded his host as a wonderful person, but he could never take the place of his brother. Joseph broke down and amidst flowing tears said, My loving brother, I am the brother who was lost and whose name you are constantly repeating. Fate has brought us together after many years of separation. This is Allah's favor, but let it be a secret between us for the time being. Benjamin flung his arms around Joseph, and both brothers shed tears of joy. A thief among the brothers. The next day, while their bags were being filled with grain to load onto the camels, Joseph ordered one of his attendants to place the king's gold cup, which was used for measuring the grain, into Benjamin's saddlebag. When the brothers were ready to set out, the gates were locked, and the court cry shouted, O you travelers, you are thieves. The accusation was most unusual, and the people gathered around Joseph's brothers. What have you lost? His brothers inquired. A soldier said, The king's golden cup. Whoever can trace it, we will give a beast load of grain. Joseph's brother said, with all innocence, We have not come here to corrupt the land and steal. Joseph's officers said, as he had instructed them, What punishment should you choose for the thief? The brothers answered, According to our law, whoever steals becomes a slave to the owner of the property. The officers agreed, We shall apply your law instead of the Egyptian law, which provides for imprisonment. The chief officer ordered his soldier to start searching the caravan. Joseph was watching the incident from high upon his throne. He had given instructions for Benjamin's bag to be the last to be searched. When they did not find the cup in the bags of the 10 older brothers, the brothers sighed in relief. Benjamin is accused. There remained only the bag of their youngest brother, Joseph said, intervening for the first time, that there was no need to search his saddle, as he did not look like a thief. His brothers affirmed, We will not move an inch unless his saddle is searched as well. We are the sons of a noble man, not thieves. The soldiers reached in their hands and pulled out the king's cup. The brothers exclaimed, If he steals now, a brother of his has stolen before. They strayed from the present issue in order to blame a particular group of the children of Jacob. Joseph heard their resentment with his own ears and was filled with regret. Yet he swallowed his own resentment, keeping it within. He said to himself, You went further and fared worse. It shall go bad with you and worse hereafter, and Allah knows your intention. Silence fell upon them after these remarks by the brothers. Then they forgot their secret satisfaction and thought of Jacob. They had taken an oath with him that they would not betray his son. They began to beg Joseph for mercy. Joseph, our minister, take one of us instead. He is the son of a good man, and we can see you are a good man. Joseph answered calmly, How can you want to set free the man who has stolen the king's cup? It would be sinful. The brothers went on pleading for mercy. However, the guard said that the king had spoke, and his word was law. Judah, the eldest, was much worried and told the others, We promised our father in the name of Allah not to fail him. I will therefore stay behind and will only return if my father permits me to do so. Joseph meets Benjamin and the accusation Quranic. Regarding this scene, Almighty Allah said, And when they entered according to their father's advice, it did not avail them in the least against the will of Allah. It was but a need of Jacob's inner self, which he discharged, and verily he was endowed with knowledge, because we had taught him. But most men know not. And when they went in before Joseph, he betook his brother Benjamin to himself, and said, Verily I am your brother, so grieve not for what they used to do. So when he had furnished them forth with their provisions, he put the golden bowl in his brother's bag. Then a crier cried, O you in the caravan, surely you are thieves. They, turning towards them, said, What is that you have missed? They said, We have missed the golden bowl of the king, and for him who produces it is the reward of a camel load. I will be bound by it. They said, By Allah, indeed, you know that we came not to make mischief in the land, and we are no thieves. The Joseph's brother said, The penalty should be that he in whose bag it is found should be held for the punishment of the crime. Thus we punish the Zalimin wrongdoers. So Joseph, began the search in their bags before the bag of his brother. Then he brought it out of his brother's bag. Thus did we plan for Joseph. He could not take his brother by the law of the king as a slave, except that Allah willed it. So Allah made the brothers to bind themselves with their way of punishment, enslaving of a thief. We raise to degrees one we please. But overall, those endowed with knowledge is the all-knowing Allah. They, Joseph's brothers, said, If he steals, there was a brother of his Joseph who did steal before him. But these things did Joseph keep in himself, revealing not the secrets to them. He said within himself, You are in the worst case, and Allah knows best the truth of what you assert. They said, O ruler of the land, verily he has an old father who will grieve for him. So take one of us in his place. Indeed, we think that you are one of the good doers. He said, Allah forbid that we should take anyone but him. With whom we found our property. Indeed, if we did so, we shall be zalimun, wrongdoers. So when they despaired of him, they had a conference in private. The eldest among them said, Know you not that your father did take an oath from you in Allah's name, and before this did fail in your duty with Joseph? Therefore I will not leave this land until my father permits me, or Allah decides my case by releasing Benjamin, and he is the best of all of the judges. Joseph's plan. The brothers left enough provisions behind for Judah, who stayed at a tavern awaiting for the fate of Benjamin. In the meantime, Joseph kept Benjamin in his house as his personal guest, and told him how he had devised the plot to put the king's cup in his bag in order to keep him behind so as to protect him. He was also glad that Judah had stayed behind, as he was a good-hearted brother. Joseph secretly arranged to watch over Judah's well-being. Joseph's plan in sending the others back was to test their sincerity, to see if they would come back for the two brothers they had left behind. The brothers confront Jacob. When they arrived home, they entered upon their father, calling, "O our father, your son has stolen." He was puzzled, scarcely believing the news. He was overwhelmed with sorrow, and his eyes wept tears. "Patience be with me. Perhaps Allah will return all of them to me. He is most knowing, most wise." A pall of lonesomeness closed over him. Yet he found consolation in patience and trusted in Allah. The brothers confront Jacob, Quranic. Allah revealed to us what happened at their meeting with their father.